Hi there. More now on the big breaking news from the last hour as Oleksandr Usyk has vacated his WBO heavyweight title, promoting Fabio Wardley as the new world champion. Wardley was due to fight Usyk for the belt last month after stopping Joseph Parker. And we can speak now to our reporter, Andy Scott. Andy, a big day in the world of boxing and big news this evening. Can you explain why Usyk has arrived at this decision to relinquish that WBO belt?
Well, I could do my best, but it would be pure speculation. He hasn't come out yet and given a reason why he has vacated that belt. He's been nursing this back injury, hasn't he, which caused a lot of debate online because he likes a party and he was dancing freely at a party. And there was a couple of people that raised an eyebrow and said, is that really a man who has a back injury? And that's the reason he didn't fight Wardley. But there are also people online that are calling it a duck from Usyk. I mean, come on, can we just be real for a second? The guy's been to everybody's backyard, fought every single fighter that he could, and never shied away from a contest. I don't think Oleksandr Usyk is ducking or running away from Fabio Wardley. But I would suspect that he doesn't want to dance to the tune of the governing bodies who have put a time span on things. And, you know, what is he now, 38? I think when we all get to that age, the back's a bit sorer, isn't it? And he probably wants more time to recover and he wants to plot his own course out of the sport. We know he hasn't got many fights left. And I would sense that he wants to go out on his own terms and maybe not to the beck and call of the WBO. But that isn't Fabio Wardley's problem, and that's not Fabio Wardley's issue. Just want to take the time to say congratulations to Fabio Wardley. The UK has a new heavyweight world champion, and his name is Fabio Wardley. It's a great story.
It is certainly a brilliant story, and we'll get back to Usyk shortly. But in terms of Fabio Wardley, he has had an incredible few weeks. It was such a remarkable display against Joseph Parker, who's arguably been the in-form heavyweight in recent years.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant and it was richly deserved. So many people, including a lot of us under Sky Sports HQ roof, were picking Parker because that was the educated call. But Fabio Wardley does not know when he's beat. He doesn't know how to lose. He's incredible. And, you know, I don't think he really plays on it enough, but we can. White collar Fabio Wardley from that background to come through all of those challenges when he was the underdog, to keep knocking out tried and tested challengers and opponents. He's done absolutely brilliant. You know, Justice Hooney was ahead on the cards when Fabio knocked him out at Portman Road. Well, I mean, fairy tale stuff. Everybody thought that Parker was one step too far. Fabio Wardley writes his own scripts, doesn't he? And found that equaliser, and actually it was more than an equaliser, wasn't it? As a knockout blow, and Parker was stopped on his feet. Some people argue controversially, but you know, I think all in all it was a good stoppage, and that put Fabio on the brink, didn't it? Let's be honest. It put him in that position that he earned the right to fight Usyk. He was the interim champion, and the reason they have these interim champions is for this exact reason. You know, when the full champion decides enough's enough, or he can't honour that commitment, the interim champion gets upgraded. So the only downside for Fabio Wardley is he won't hear those magical words that you only get in that moment, which is "and the new heavyweight champion of the world, Fabio Wardley." But I think he'll get over that pretty quickly. You know, it's been a remarkable rise. People traditionally from his background don't get to where he has got to. A lot of the times they've had at least some amateur background. They've had at least some amateur experience. He didn't. You know, we've all been to these white collar nights. He was fighting, you know, people that were nowhere near his level, and that's where he started at working man's clubs and functions and stuff like that. And he had a handful of those white collar fights, which it's just amazing, isn't it? It's a brilliant story for boxing. It just shows you don't have to tread the tried and tested route. You can go your own path. So congratulations to Fabio Wardley, and I'm sure there's a few glasses being raised in Ipswich tonight.
Absolutely, and Ipswich Town fans will hope to see a world title defence at Portman Road sometime in 2026. And Frank Warren has said in the last few minutes, it's one of the most incredible stories I've seen in my 45 years as a promoter. I could not be prouder of Fabio Wardley. And of course, Frank Warren will now be plotting out the next fight for Fabio Wardley. Who do you think we'll see him in the ring with next?
Well, I thought you were going to ask me this question. I'm probably doing what everybody else has started doing and going down the WBO heavyweight rankings. I mean, the interesting one, the real fight that would put the world on notice would be him against Moses Ituma, who fights Jermaine Franklin. But they can't do that because they share a trainer in Ben Davison. So it can't be, unless something changes, it can't be Fabio Wardley against Moses Ituma as a first defence. Next in line would be Filip Hrgović. I think that carries a lot of weight. Hrgović was the best of the chasing pack for many, many years. The Croatian, he's very, very dangerous. He's beaten Joe Joyce in recent form and looked good doing it. David Adley as well. So he's well known to British fans, and he would bring some serious credibility, and he would ask some serious questions of Fabio Wardley. He's a genuine contender. After that, Zhilei Zhang, he's coming off a loss, so I don't know if he would need to get back to winning ways. And then it gets interesting. You know, there's a Coley, there's Dubois. If you keep going down, there's a certain Derek Chisora as well. You know, would Fabio Wardley fight Derek Chisora in their first defence if the WBO would grant a voluntary, so he could choose anybody in the top 15, I think it is? That would be interesting. But whoever they pick, you know, why would you bet against Fabio Wardley? He's just getting better and better, and he's finding a way to win these fights. Wonder if it will change him being heavyweight champion. It's a pretty big sort of mantle, isn't it? I don't care about the other things that have been announced today. The heavyweight champion of the world is still the baddest man on the planet.
And Wardley now the WBO champion, Usyk relinquishing that belt. What do you think that does mean in terms of Usyk's intentions? Because there has been that talk about that trilogy fight with Tyson Fury, and I guess having relinquished that belt, it makes it more of a possibility, or do you think this is an indication that this could potentially be it for Usyk?
I don't think it would be it, and I think it's a real shame if it was it, because you want him to have his moment where he says goodbye to the crowd on the night. I think as much, and this is just me speaking here in the safety of my own home, safety in my own home. I would love Usyk to stop now. I don't want to see him go on and on and on and even risk losing that aura that he has. He's been the best of his generation and he's beat all comers. I would like him to stop sooner rather than later. But I don't think he will. I think he will have one more. Whether that would be the trilogy with Tyson Fury, I'm not so sure. Tyson Fury is still very much retired. The tease that we got at the weekend, which I know was slightly changed in the last 24 hours with what's been announced today, but you would think that Turki Al-Sheikh has got his ear to the ground, and he said that AJ's plan would be to fight in February, and then they would do everything they could to set up a fight between Fury and AJ in September. You don't really see Usyk being part of those plans. I mean, that's just a hunch that I have. I've reached out to Usyk's team tonight to see if they can clarify anything, or at least give me something to go on. I think Usyk will have one more because that's what he said he would do, and he doesn't seem to go back on his word. So I think, you know, the way the situation is at the moment, he will not get to say goodbye with a heavyweight title defense of one of his other belts in Ukraine. But I would sense that he would want to have one more and say goodbye, at least on his own terms, maybe in the summer.
Andy, thank you very much for now.